What up, Internet? It's the Notorious B.I.V. here. Thanks for joining me today for the show, and we got Wandavision episode 6 to break down. So go cancel those Disney Plus subscriptions, and we'll get right into it. Seriously though, I am canceling my Disney Plus subscription as soon as Falcon and Winter Soldier is over. That's my plan. So, but you do you. Really though, I mean, I'm not gonna, the Loki show looks kind of cool. But other than that, I mean, what you got? She-Hulk coming up. Oh, there's Moon Knight. Moon Knight's kind of cool, but I don't know. I've always liked Moon Knight. Not necessarily. I never really read the comics all that much. I just thought he looked cool, like he's, I guess he's Marvel's version of Batman, kind of, except, well, I don't know, so is Daredevil, and, maybe the Punisher a little bit too, I don't know, anyway, but though, I don't know, I mean, Moon Knight, you got Loki, there's like a Hawkeye series, I guess, coming up that kind of sets up the Young Avengers. And the Young Avengers were kind of after my time. I never got into those comics. I guess I was a comic reader at one point. Let's put it that way. In the late 80s, early 90s was when I was into comics. Which was a great time to be in comics. It was kind of like the pinnacle of comics at that point, and then they just kind of have gone downhill from there ever since. So it was a good time to read comics, but yeah, so I never really got into Young Avengers or any of that stuff, which is kind of what a lot of the the Disney Plus series seem to be setting up those characters and stuff. So, I'm not going to miss it. Anyway, I'm not going to miss The Mandalorian. So, yeah. Enough about that, though. Episode 6, WandaVision. I'm going to not try. I'm not going to say or like at all during this video. I watched some of yesterday's video with captions on. And it like sickened me. It was painful. So I'm not going to do that to you. I'm going to be very calm. And we're going to talk about WandaVision, episode 6. So it starts with, I guess, I don't really know what show they're talking about or they're referencing at the beginning. It's kind of like, it's from the kids' perspective. So it's like the kids are like doing their own little show, kind of. So I guess we're in the 90s now, and there were a lot of like silly 90s kid shows, like, I don't know, like The Secret Life of Cody. What was that one? The Secret Life of Cody and Cody. Oh, The Sweet Life of Cody and his twin brother. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't watch it, obviously. But there were a lot of like silly kid shows like that. I think that's what it's referencing. I don't know that it's referencing anything specific. But the kids are getting ready for Halloween, and they pretty much abandoned the sitcom like pretty early on in this one. Like the first scene, I guess, is pretty much like they're in this kind of, it's a little sitcom-y, but then it pretty much abandons that right after that, which is good because I think a lot of people are getting sick of the sitcom things, the sitcom-iness of the show. So so they're getting ready for Halloween. Scarlet Witch comes down in her Scarlet Witch outfit, which she says is a, her traditional comic book Scarlet Witch outfit, right? Which she says is a I'm dressed as a Sokovian fortune teller, right? And then Vision comes down in his like comic booky Vision outfit, and he is a Mexican wrestler, right? A luchador, right? A luchador. So so that's kind of funny. And then I said, sorry about that. So then the kids, I said, damn it. The kids, uh, let's start this again. Vision informs Scarlet Witch that he's not going trick or treating with the family. He's got plans to do neighborhood watch stuff, right? So, and she's all like, "Oh, but what the f?" And he's like, "Yeah, sorry, I have plans, so I'll see you later." And she's just kind of like, "Oh, okay," but then Pietro jumps in and he's like, "Oh, don't worry about it, like the kids, I'll take you and the kids trick or treating, everything will be fine and everything," and right, and he kind of covers for Vision, it seems like. So Vision's got this plan, right? He's gonna go out and do some investigating, and we and so then we see the outside world. We see Hayward, the sword dude, right? He's all mad at Jimmy Woo and Darcy, the trio, right? And Monica, and they have a little disagreement. They're like, "Oh, you tried to kill Wanda, and that's not cool." And he's like, "Yes, it is. I don't care. She's dangerous," and blah blah blah. And he goes into like complete like 80s villain dick mode in this episode. So he has them arrested, and like, I don't know, they put handcuffs on him and they're gonna haul him away or whatever. And of course, they overpower their guards and beat him up because, I guess Jimmy Woo and Monica are super tough or something. Apparently, they can just beat up a bunch of armed guards. Anyway, seriously, they beat up like 5 dudes, the two of them together. Just like, okay, whatever. So they overpower their guards, and then they hide the guard. They hide the guards somewhere and like put on their little ponchos and whatever. And they start investigating. Darcy hacks into, Hayward's personal files and all this stuff, right? And they find out a couple of things. First of all, that Hayward's tracking Vision for some reason, right? Ooh. So, Hayward wants to get Vision back, I guess, since Wanda stole him from Sword. And they also find out, Darcy's like, "Oh, I'm going to, she talked about like getting this this vehicle that could penetrate the shield, right? Last episode. And she's like, "I'm going to talk to my contact and get my special vehicle thingy." And Darcy's like, "No, you can't go back, Monica." And she's like, "Why?" "Because," and she shows her blood samples, and she's like, "You've gone through the you've gone through the barrier once and then back out through it again, and it's like it's messing with your DNA and like doing all this stuff to you." So apparently Monica Rambeau is going to get her powers at, towards the end of this series, and that'll be kind of cool. But so Monica and Jimmy, they're like, "We're going to go get this vehicle." Monica's like, "I don't care, I'm going back in anyway," because she's heroic and stuff. And they are going to go get the vehicle, but they're going to go meet her contact or whatever. But Darcy says, "No, I'm going to stay here because I still have to figure out what Hayward's doing. I still need to hack into his files." So she stays there, and then we go back into Wanda World, right? and she's there. She's trick or treating with her kids, and Pietro's pretty hilarious in this show, in this episode. He has some good moments. But he of course is dressed in his Quicksilver outfit. I don't think he has a he didn't he hadn't ex I don't think he explained like what his outfit is. He's just in his Quicksilver outfit with the hair all gelled up. It looks funny, and his little buddy, his little nephew Speed, is also dressed in a Quicksilver outfit, and the other twin, I can't keep the twins' names right, but the other twin is dressed as in his little Wiccan outfit, right? And he's that's what they're dressed up as, which is kind of cool. And they actually get their powers. They start exhibiting their powers. So Pietro does have super speed in this, of course, and the the one twin starts exhibiting super speed just out of the blue. And towards the end of the episode, little Wiccan kid starts getting his powers. So they are getting, he's getting his magical powers, and Tommy, I guess, is getting his speed powers. So that's kind of cool. And so Vision is like on this little journey to the edge of town, and he finds out that like everyone on the edge of town is frozen. They're just kind of like they're frozen, or they're moving really slowly. They're just like, and it kind of reminds me of a video, like in a video game where it's like, a video game only shows you what you're looking at, right? And all the other things, the rest of everything else off the screen just kind of disappears in a video game. But and it's focusing on showing you everything that you're looking at, everything, right? But that's all the video game shows you, because it's using all its resources to like show you those things, and everything else just is like goes away if you're not looking at it. Basically, that's how it technically works. That's how it effectively works. The technicalities are beyond me. But anyway, so that's what it reminded me of, is because these people, they're on the edge of town. Vision and Scarlet Witch are not interacting with these elements, and so they're just people are just kind of standing around, just like doing nothing. So Vision finds Agnes, and she has driven her car like nearly to the edge of town, and she's just sitting there frozen like everyone else in that area. And Vision talks to her, and she's just like kind of catatonic, and then he like snaps her out of it. He like does this little touching the temples thing. I don't know how that works necessarily, how he can snap people out of the mind control, because I don't know how that works. I don't know why he has that ability, but he does. And he snaps her out of it, and she's all like, "Oh, we're all trapped here, and you've got to save us," and whatever. Which was weird, because I thought Agnes last episode, I thought Agnes knew, like had a level of awareness that the other people didn't. But in this, she kind of exhibits the same level of awareness as everyone else. And there's another guy too. Everyone's the black dude, Herb, I think his name is. Wanda's talking to him, and he's like, "Oh, do you want me to?" He kind of acts kind of like Agnes did in the last one too. So I guess Agnes and everyone are all trapped in this thing. I don't know. It was a little confusing. But Vision decides to leave the barrier. So he's heading towards the barrier, and let me think for a second here. Sword, of course, is tracking him, and so they know like he's coming out, and they're all waiting for him. And Darcy comes out, and Hayward's like, hey, lock her up," or whatever. and Vision starts trying to come out of the shield, but it's like holding him back, right? He's like fighting against it. He pops out, and he's like coming towards the sword people, and he's like, oh, we need to help these townspeople or whatever. They're in trouble. He's being all heroic, right? But the thing's like tearing him apart, right? It's like little pieces of him are flying off, like back towards back through the shield or whatever. And he's like kind of at the end, he like falls down. He's kind of like crawling now, like and like I said, the little kid's magical powers, the other twins' magical powers kick in now, and he's like, oh hey, Dad's in trouble. And Wanda's like, what? And Pietro, all of a sudden, oh, that's the other thing. Pietro's conscious of what's going on. He's not under mind control or anything. He and Scarlet Witch are having this conversation, like, oh yeah, this is pretty cool what you've done here, and you know what I mean. Like he knows exactly what's going on. He knows it's like what she's done. That she's got all these townspeople under her control. He's like, yeah, this is pretty cool what you've done here, and she's like, is it? You don't think it's kind of wrong? And he's like, no, it's not wrong. It's cool, man. This is great. And so he knows what's going on, which is weird. So again, you know, who is Pietro? Like, what is his deal? Is he Pietro? Is he someone else? We don't know. He's just, you know, but he knows what's going on. And so the little kid's like, oh, Dad's in trouble or whatever. And Pietro makes this like kind of insensitive comment. He's like, oh, don't worry about him. You know, what does he say? Your dead husband can't die a second time, right? You know, and Scarlet Witch just gets pissed and like just blasts him, right? And she starts like, her eyes are going red, and she's like, and the shield starts expanding, right? And I should say too, at this point, her conversation with Pietro, she mentioned that he asked her like, oh, how did you do all this? Like, you know, like, how did you do all this? And she's like, I don't know how I did it. And so that's interesting. So she's not really exactly aware of how she's doing this. And so anyway, so she starts expanding the shield, right? And it just starts expanding, and it envelops Vision. So he's still alive, I guess. But it keeps going. It's just expanding, and it's like taking all the sword people into it, and all the surrounding towns and countryside and whatever. And the only people that aren't in it are Hayward and, well, no, it sucks Darcy in as well. And you know, Hayward and a couple of his people like jump in a jeep and are driving away from it as it's expanding towards, you know, after them. So they're like the only ones that didn't get sucked into it. And of course Monica and Jimmy, because they're off talking to her contact or whatever to get her special little vehicle. So that's where it ends. It was another fairly short episode. It was actually like half an hour. Well, it was 37 minutes, but like you have like 7 minutes of credits or something. So it was a little longer, like kind of like last episode was. And we'll see what happens. It's interesting. It did kind of make things a little muddier though for me, because like I said, Agnes is just a townsperson now, maybe. I thought she was someone a little more prominent. Maybe she still is. We'll see. But Pietro is still kind of a mystery. Like, who is this guy, and what's his deal? And of course Monica is gonna get her powers. And I don't think they're ever really going to explain the whole sitcom thing. Like, why sitcoms? You know, I don't think they're ever going to explain it, and that kind of saddens me a little. It's one of those. It's going to bug me, but it's just one of those things where I'm just going to say, okay, I guess, you know, we'll have to let it go. But anyway, maybe we'll get an explanation. I don't know. It doesn't seem like we're going to, get any explanation for that. So I still think that's weird, but we'll see. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment on the video, and cancel your Disney Plus subscription, and I will see you for episode 7 of WandaVision. Later.